Hey guys, welcome back to Salem the Crafting MMO, and in this video we're going to be talking about basic combat and hunting your first little critters in the world. So, first thing you should know is the critters we're going for are squirrels, bunnies, and crickets. So anything bigger than that, just don't bother for now. Just please don't get yourself killed out there. So let's go over a few basic things that you should be aware of first of all. So let's look at our biles, our humors up here. So we got blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. And the important ones that I should note are blood, which is basically your hit points, your red bar over here. Your yellow bile, the yellow bar over here, which determines it's sort of your energy when it comes to attacking, and also it determines how much damage you deal. And your black bile, which you should be aware of, that if your character gets feared or scared, your black bile will actually drain because it's your mental energy. So the interesting thing about your humors is your yellow bile, because that determines how much damage you deal, but every time you throw a punch or do an attack move, it drains your yellow bile. So that means that every attack you do, your next attack is going to be weaker than your last. So that's something you have to take into consideration. And I should note, if you aggro an enemy, some kind of monster or creature out there, and you run away, even into the safety of your little compound here, even if you run away, it's going to be stuck at the gate or stuck at the fence trying to chase you, and you won't be able to regenerate your biles while you are being attacked. So even if you eat some stuff, they won't regenerate until you're out of combat, and you can't even teleport away to Providence or anything like that. So you got to keep that in mind. Attack things that you know you can kill, basically. That's why I say get your biles up to 20. Don't even try to attack the turkeys. Please don't attack the turkeys. Anyway, we gotta find a cricket here, because there's a few things in terms of combat that's gonna be a little bit tricky to deal with. So let me zoom out here. Try to find myself a cricket. I'm sure I heard one just now, but see that deer there? Yeah, don't even bother with the deer. Ooh, I hear a bunny. Where's the bunny? You hear that hopping sound? Okay, there's a bunny. Okay, so we're gonna start with this. The bunny is probably the first thing you're actually gonna be doing any hunting. But see what happens when I walk up to it? It runs away. And this creates a little problem. I mean, it does sort of bump into you once in a while, but generally it's not gonna stay near you. And this becomes a problem, because have a look at how combat works. If you go down to your the lower right hand side here, you see combat. There's a combat tab, and you got attacks, maneuvers, and moves. Generally we're looking at attacks today, and you can see there's a whole bunch here. Now you get these combat moves by earning certain skills. The first one you want to get is self-defense. Where is it? Self-defense is the first sort of combat skill you're going to be going for. There we go, self-defense. And then after that, you definitely should go ahead and get back alley pugilism. This gives you more attack moves sort of thing, and very, very important. But let me show you how combat can be a little tricky in Salem. So let's say I click on punch. It changes your cursor to this sort of sword symbol. Now, let's try throw a punch here. You click in the direction that you want to punch, and it punches in that direction. Now, if I accidentally punch that deer, I'd be knocked out right now, so you gotta be careful about doing that out in the wild. But that's how it works. So if I click over onto this side, it punches in that direction. So you have to sort of time your attacks, because when you click, the punch doesn't throw immediately. And different attacks do different sort of have different sort of attack speeds here. So to make things easier, we have this hotbar in the lower sort of corner over here, and basically any of these combat moves, you can just drag them over and place them on the hotbar, and you can see it's there now. And I have decided to go for two different attacks here. I've got, well, three attacks. I've got my stomp, my uppercut, and my shoot, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I've got them here, so I don't have to bother going down here. You can actually press the hotkeys 1, 2, 3 here, but for the shoot, you need to click, and I'll show you why in a bit. But you notice here I've thrown some attacks, and my yellow bile has now been drained. So before we go hunting, I'm gonna have to eat another hickory nut here. I might eat one or two, depending. I'll eat one of those first. And it'll bring my yellow bile back up to 19.2 there, you can see. That should be high enough to kill a bunny. So now, how do we get this bunny? Well, you might notice in my inventory I have a whole load of flint. And this is, there's a reason for that, because I've crafted a slingshot. Now, let me just briefly go over slingshot crafting here, because it's not just something you just craft right away with some stuff you find on the ground. Now let me go over back into my home here, and let's have a look at the recipe to build a slingshot. I'm gonna go over to craft, weapons, and the only thing I can craft right now is a slingshot, and it requires 2 sharpened sticks and 1 fiber. Now the sharpened sticks are pretty straightforward. Basically, you have to go chop a log with an axe, and you get this block of wood, this wood block, and you can then use this little whittler's bench. If you right-click it, you're now using the whittler's bench. I know it doesn't really look like you're using it, but that's how you use it. You just right-click the whittler's bench, and you're now using it. Then you can craft processing materials and sharpen stick. And there we go. It's 1 wood block to 1 sharpened stick. Sounds like a big waste having a wood block turned into a stick, but there we go. We get a sharpened stick. Now the fiber, on the other hand, is a little trickier. Basically, there's a lot of milkweed roots around. You'll find these all over the place, milkweed roots, and you have to set that in a fire. So, first thing we gotta do to set a fire is to craft, let's see, we gotta craft some tinder, which is pretty easy to craft, a tinder drill, 2 sticks and 3 of any tinder. So I can just go ahead and pick 2 branches off this tree. There's 1. There's 2. Oh, that's a broken bough. I'm gonna pick 1 more branch so I don't use that up. There we go. So we got 2 sticks and 3 tinder. So we can just pick leaves off of this tree as well. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And I got a 4th one. There's a perfect autumn leaf. Ah, nice find there. But I got 3 autumn leaves, or maple leaves, and 2 branches, so I can craft a tinder drill. So there we go. Got a tinder drill, and now I'm gonna pick a few more branches. Not too many, you don't need so many for this. And these are going on the fire. There we go. 4 branches should do for now, and we should be careful about using that broken bough. So let's just, I picked up 1 stick, and I'm gonna shift right click on this fireplace. And the reason why I hold shift is because it will move on to the next item, and you can see it's picking up this broken bough here. I'm just gonna try avoid that. I'm gonna shift click again, and it keeps shifting to this broken bough. Let me try move this around a bit. So there we go. So it prioritizes just the normal branches. Nope, it always goes to that. Anyway, shift clicking will usually work, and there we go. And that sort of added fuel to the fire. And now that we have this tinder drill, I can just pick up the tinder drill and right-click on the fireplace, and there we go. We're now lighting the fire. So this takes a little bit, but once we got the fire going, there we go. The tinder drill broke. How unlucky for it to break while I'm recording. Okay, let's pick 2 more branches here. I'm gonna go ahead and get myself another tinder drill. Luckily I got this other tree here. I can pick a couple leaves here. There we go. And I'm gonna craft another tinder drill. These are pretty easy to make. They're under tools, miscellaneous tools, tinder drill. Let's not use the perfect maple leaf, perfect autumn leaf rather. Craft another tinder drill. There we go. And let's go ahead and use that again to light another fire. There we go. And once the fire is lit, there we go. We can always add more fuel to it later, but you don't need so much. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to take a milkweed root, place it in the fireplace, and at first it doesn't do anything. Like if you're cooking food, you're going to cook with the fire. This bar on the left is a fire, but this bar on the right is actually sort of the cinder, ash, sort of residual heat sort of thing that remains like charcoal. Sort of once you burn a bunch of stuff, the charcoal stays there, and it has that sort of heaty material. So as this burns, this bar fills up, and this bar then slowly goes down as well. And once this bar is going, this milkweed root will turn into charred milkweed root pretty fast. So we'll leave that for now. But basically, once you get charred milkweed root, you take it and you can wash it in the river. You just pick up the charred milkweed root, right-click near deep water, and you get this milkweed jute. And that counts as fiber for crafting your slingshot. So you'll have the sharpened stick and the fiber, and you can craft a slingshot no problem. So I happen to already have a slingshot on hand equipped in this left-hand slot here, and the slingshot will throw or shoot stones of any kind. Flint happens to be the best because it's just the most common and it's not wasteful, but it will also shoot smooth stones, so be careful about what you're shooting there. But either way, if you have flint in your inventory, it will work. So, let's go find those bunnies now, and let's see. I left them out around here. There's a bunny, and let's go hunt this bunny. Now, basically, the combo I'm gonna do here, it only works if your yellow bile is high enough, so 20 is a good place to be. And I'm basically gonna shoot it to aggro it, and then I'm going to stomp. And there's a reason why I use stomp, because it's a very noob-friendly move. It's an AoE move that will attack all around your character. So, first I'm gonna show you a problem with shooting using the hotkey. So I got these 3 hotkeys here. 1 will do a stomp, 2 will do an uppercut, and 3 will shoot. But it does depend on where your mouse is facing. So if I just press 3, it's gonna shoot in that direction. So I'm gonna press 3, make sure I'm not gonna shoot some wild beast or anything like that. Okay, I'm gonna press 3 here, and it shoots. And I don't know why it says the area is too steep to be dug, but it shot a bullet there, see, with the flint. So you can, let's see, let's try this. I'm gonna mouse over this rabbit and, ooh, wait for it to stop moving. Mouse over the rabbit, it's moving again, and press 3. I missed. Okay, so I do notice the accuracy is somewhat thrown off when you do that. But instead, I'm gonna click on the shoot, and it turns my mouse cursor to a sword symbol, and I'm now gonna click on the rabbit. And there we go, it hits. And as it approaches, press 1, and it stomps. And it's not dead yet. Stomp it again. There we go. So that's how you aggro and then attract it in. And it seems like, I'm not sure if my stomp was interrupted, but it took 2 stomps to kill it there. And I did lose some blood, it attacked me, and you see my yellow bile drained quite a lot. It's gone down to 13. But we can go ahead and pick up the rabbit, and there we go, we have a dead rabbit. Now with rabbits, there is another skill that you should be getting. It's called hide working. There we go, hide working. And this allows you to skin the hides of animals. So that means with this dead rabbit, if I right click it, I can butcher it, and it will give me a raw rabbit skin. So that's pretty useful, and especially for the next video where, well, you'll see what the next video is about. But there happens to be a cricket here, so let's do the same tactic, but to be safe, let's heal up. I got these berries on a straw, so I'm gonna eat one of those. Heal up a bit, get my yellow bile back up. And again, I'm gonna click on the shoot move. I'm gonna target the cricket, wait for it to stop moving so it's easy to click. So click on the cricket, and oh, it missed again. Let's click on it again. Got it. And as it approaches, press 1 to do a stomp move, and it interrupted me. Stomp again, and got it. There we go. And we killed the cricket, so we have a dead warbite cricket here. So that's very, very good. So let's see. I got that rabbit skin there, and you know you can craft those drying frames. Even in the tutorial, they teach you how to do those drying frames. So I'm gonna head back to my camp here. And to dry those skins, basically, here's my drying frame. Just right click on the drying frame. It's got some inventory, and I'm gonna put the raw rabbit skin in the drying frame. And there you go. It's drying over there. And that's pretty good. So let's check our fire here. Let's see if it still hasn't done anything. It can take some time. So in terms of hunting, the rabbits and crickets are sort of what you're going for, but there are a number of things that you can just pick up in the world. You can just pick up things like crabs, frogs, squirrels even, and salamanders, and snails, and all sorts of leeches. There's lots of critters that you can just walk up to and pick up. And squirrels are sort of the noob-friendly, easiest way to hunt anything. Basically, you go to sort of this brownish, dark brown, dark green sort of forest area, and you'll find plenty of squirrels. And you can just right-click them and pick them up. And basically what I'm going to do now, I'm going to travel back to Providence, and I'm going to walk to an area just outside Providence where you can actually start hunting. So just give me a second and we'll get right there. Okay, here we go. We're in Providence, and we're just sort of walking up here. The market's on the right and the church is on the left. And we're walking sort of northwards, I think this is, past these orchards. And we're gonna just go up here. Someone's released a bunch of bats around here, so let's just avoid those bats. And here we go. We're gonna go right up here. And is that? Oh, that was the sound of a bat. Okay, so right over here, there's this sort of crossing across this river. This little bit of crossing. Someone's, for some reason, built some kind of fence across it. But here we go. We're gonna cross over to this area. And let me bring the map back out. And you can see on the map, this sort of darkish, brownish, here we go. This area, right here, right outside Providence, you can see all these squirrels scurrying about. Basically, you just right-click one, and you pick it up. There we go, we got a squirrel. And help yourself. Pick up as many as you can. They are pretty fast. You can see this one. We're on chase here. Come on. You just, once you right-click it, it's sort of like catching a much quicker tumbleweed. And the tree got in our way. Come on, right-click the squirrel. These are actually harder to catch than I thought. But here we go. And oh no, come on. A bit, come on. Yes, no, almost. Damn, they're fast. Okay, this might take a little longer than expected for a noob, because you see these things do actually run away from you. And almost no. Got caught in a tree again. There we go, got another one. So, these squirrels are pretty handy because you can just right-click them and ring neck. And again, that's gonna give you... There we go, ring neck. There we go. It makes a horrible noise. But if you have hide working, it's gonna give you a raw squirrel pelt. So you can just help yourself to these as much as you like. I'm gonna hide the map again, put it back up there, and I'm gonna travel back home. Here we go. And I'm back home. Fire's still going. And again, with these drying racks, you can just right-click them, put the raw squirrel pelt on there, and it's going to be drying in no time. Squirrel pelts dry really, really quickly. You can see this rabbit skin. It actually has this sort of clock wipe effect to show that it's being done and how much longer it's going to take. Rabbit skins take a while, but you can see the squirrel pelt is almost done over there. So I'm just going to go ahead and ring these two. You just feel horrible doing that. 2 more squirrels, and I'm going to go ahead and fill these drying frames as well with squirrel pelts. And I got raw squirrel cuts, and apparently I got an acorn, or an oak, what is it? Myrtle oak acorn from one of those squirrels. And I got these meat shreds from the rabbit. So that's sort of there we go. That's sort of an extra bonus if you want to do some cooking of food and stuff like that. But sort of picking that up, it poses no challenge really. It's just sort of time consuming chasing them around. But you can get plenty of squirrels like that in terms of early game hunting. Now let's check our fireplace. It's still not done. Yeah, fires do take a while. Eventually this will turn into charred milkweed roots. But that basically wraps up the early game hunting, as we've managed to kill a cricket, we've managed to kill a rabbit, and we managed to catch some squirrels. And those are kind of the early game stuff. Please do not go for the turkeys, deer, even beavers. Please do not even bother touching them. It's just that they're way, way stronger than you might expect. So you might have noticed there's some stuff over on the right side here, which is preparation for future videos. You might have a hint of what's coming up next. But anyway, that wraps up my basic hunting guide for newbies in terms of just getting started and some early game hunting. These are some very important skills, and hopefully the basics of combat and some extra crafting tips here have come in handy for you. And as always, if you want to continue supporting the channel and Salem the Crafting MMO, there's a link in the description. If you click that, it helps out the channel and it doesn't change anything for you. Basically, it's to create an account. It's a referral link. You know how referral links work. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.